Assalamu alaikum students. How are you all? Hope you all are fine and fit. Students, today we are going to start direct and indirect speech in unit 7 of our lesson Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Okay students, now tell me, what is narration? Narration is an act of reporting the words of speaker. When you are reporting the words of speaker, we have two ways. One is direct speech, another one is indirect speech. What is direct speech? When we want to describe what someone said, one option is to use direct speech. When we simply repeat what someone says, putting the phrase between inverted commas. Okay students, for example, Ramu came in and said, "I am really hungry." As you see, with direct speech, it is common to use the verb to say or said in the past. But you can also find other verbs used to dictate direct speech, such as ask, reply, and shout. For example, when Nisa opened the door, I asked, "Have you seen Zaiba?" She replied, "No, I haven't seen her since lunchtime." The teacher was angry and shouted, "Why isn't she here? She hasn't finished the classwork yet." Students, let us see the indirect speech. What is indirect speech? When we want to report what someone said without inverted marks and without necessarily using exactly the same words, we can use indirect speech, also called reported speech. For example, indirect speech, "We are quite cold in here." The same sentence in indirect speech, they say that they are cold. Students, when we report what someone says in the simple present, as in the above sentence, we normally don't change the tense. We simply change the subject. Okay? However, when we report things in the past, we usually change the tense by moving it one step back. Okay, students? Let us see that with examples. Indirect speech means, here mentioned direct speech, "I have a new car." The same sentence in indirect speech, "He said he had a new car." Okay students, like that we have some more examples here, like, "He said I live in the city center." It is in simple present. The same sentence in indirect speech, "He said he lived in the city center." Next sentence, "He said I am going out." It is in present continuous. If we change that same sentence in indirect speech, "He said he was going out." "He said I have finished." It is in present perfect. The same sentence in indirect speech, "He said he had finished." "He said I have been studying a lot." Students, this sentence is in present perfect continuous. Okay? If we change that into indirect speech, it is, "He said he had been studying a lot." Next sentence we have, "He said I arrived before you." He said he had arrived before you. "He said I had already left." It is in past perfect. So the same sentence, if we change in indirect speech, "He said he had already left," remains the same. Okay? Students, let us see using say or tell. As an alternative to using say, we can use tell, told in the past. in the reported speech. But in this case, you have to add the object pronoun. For example, she told me she is going to call Mariam. They told her they would arrive a little late. Like you told us you had already finished the homework. Okay, students? Like students, here in these sentences, see, for told, we are adding a pronoun like me, her, us. Okay, students?
Students, next we have changing time expressions. Sometimes it's necessary to change the time expressions when you report speech, especially when you speak about the past and the time reference no longer applies. Okay, students, let us see some examples. In direct speech, I am seeing my brother tomorrow. If we change that in indirect speech, we will get she said she was seeing her brother the following day. Okay? And here we have some more examples like I had a headache yesterday. In indirect speech, we will get he said he had a headache the day before yesterday. And next example we have I haven't seen them since last week. In indirect speech, we will get she said she hadn't seen them since the previous week. Next, students, we have reporting orders and requests. Like when you give someone an order, you use the imperative form, which means using just the verb without a subject. Like, for example, call me back later and have a seat. And one more, don't do that. And next, to report an order, we use tell and the infinitive of the verb. Okay, students, to report an order, we use tell and the infinitive of the verb. For example, you told me to call you back later. He told me to have a seat. She told us not to do that. Students, this is about direct and indirect speech. Hope you understood. Let's stop here. We will discuss more about direct and indirect speech in live session. Till then, thank you and Allah Hafiz.